Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Sports Entertainment Weekly. We are here for our first game week review of Euros, considering that every team has already played one game. So, we are going to kind of cover three important topics like which team has stood out, which team has disappointed, which team has surprised us the most. So, Euros has been like nothing but fantastic. So, the only thing that has been disappointing is probably Germany's away jersey. But apart from that, Euros has been a cracker thus far. So, yeah, let's just open the floor for the topics. Team that had stood out. So who wants to go first?
I think I'll just go with the team that stood out because it's also a team that actually surprised me with the way they dominated what I believe was a very strong Croatia side. So the team that actually surprised me is Spain, and I know it comes off as a awkward thing to say that Spain in a European tournament doing well is a surprise, but considering the background and the squad that Spain had brought in, this is most certainly not their best ever squad. I mean, we've seen great, insanely talented Spanish sides in the past. And this team, although they have a few youngsters who might go to the very top of the game, it is not there yet. And one reason I believe why Spain would not exactly dominate like they usually used to is that there is that lack. I thought at least that there was a lack of identity in Spain, wherein they have lost their tiki-taka passing game masters, and the squad previously they had a very strong squad which belonged to usually one club, primarily Barcelona and a few Real Madrid players. But this particular Spanish team, the players come from a variety of structures. So you have Rodri, who comes from Manchester City's Pep side. There are a lot of core players who are from Real Sociedad side. The experience comes from Real Madrid, and the youth talent comes from Barcelona. So very contrasting styles, respectively, for their clubs. And these guys have not played a lot of matches together. I did not expect them to dispatch Croatia like they did in the first match. The team seems very fluid, and the most surprising fact was that I also think this was a statistic, and it goes back to 2008. So that last match was the first match since 2008 where the Spanish national team had less than 50% of the possession, but they won convincingly. So I think the era has kind of changed for Spain. They are no longer very rigid with their possession brand of football. They're no longer looking to just keep the ball and defend via possession. They were actually defending. So they were defending like how footballers are meant to defend, defending the ball with their back against the wall. That's how football's supposed to be played. So no, none of that possession defensive bullshit. Proper squad, extremely talented. I think Lamine Yamal is a guy to watch out for. I mean, he's not even an adult yet, and he's bossing proper European players over there. So Spain's approach surprised me. The way they played together, despite the diversity in the backgrounds that they come from, surprised me. And getting Croatia uh, that bad, beating them that bad, also most certainly surprised me. So I'll go with Spain as a team that really surprised me.
Yeah, also adding to the point, right? Like Spain has very good wingers right now, which they never had, like quick wingers,
Yeah.
which kind
They
of
do, yes.
allows, which they never had during the 2008, the 2012 times, where they always had to have like five, six midfielders who used to
Yes.
always play on the wing. So they have like the directness right now and the pace that they have right now, which is also something that they never had. And like Morata can always like no, he's used as a money laundering player by many clubs, but yeah, he can always get onto something from Nico
Yeah.
Williams or Lamine Yamal at some point of
Lamine
time.
Yamal.
So they don't rely on 50, 60 passes per shot that they want to have, but
No,
they can be
the
more
football is
direct, right?
quicker now. Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
football is far quicker.
Yep. And I think that also enables them to defend the ball in the defensive half because they know that even if they are defending deep, once the possession turns over, they have the players, the white men, to hit the other team on the transition. And Morata is a pretty good hold up player of the ball. We clearly want to differentiate between hold up and link up because I don't think link
Yeah,
up is exactly one of
he's good.
Morata's strengths. But when it comes to holding the ball up for a non-rushing winger to lay it on and then hit the box, Morata does it pretty well. So I
Yeah.
think I'll give credits to the coach for identifying the strengths of the team and implementing a style and a framework that suits the players. So Spain, we need to take them seriously now. I did not initially. I thought they might not make it very far in the tournament.
Yeah. What about you, Karthik, Arvind? Who wants to go next? The team that has
Uh,
stood out.
For me, just adding a point on Spain, I feel like this is the first time where I am seeing Spain like a proper tournament side. Like whenever we see Spain, right, it's always like as he said, like the possession-based midfielders. I feel like they are set up usually for a more like a Premier League or a league format rather than like a tournament format. But this is the first time where I'm seeing like the Spain team is actually properly set for a tournament like where you have like pacey wingers and there's like an outlet and these guys don't mind for a transition. Usually it's about the control where Pep has totally ruined this whole thing for us. I know that, but then this is the first time where what guys like we'll just uh, give the control to the other team. That's okay, but then will be as effective as possible. That's what I really like from the Spain because even though Croatia had chances, I felt like Spain are always Spain can always win like 3-2 or 4-3. I felt like there was always a chance with Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams on the other side. So that was like very good to see. My team, which the team that surprised me most was Romania actually because I haven't had any much before how Romania teams have performed, and I heard a stat that they are like the top two, top three sides coming in like a very good form coming into the Euros tournament, and I was really, really amazed with the way they play because they played against the Ukraine team, which had like stars which play in like Premier League and the top five leagues. Like when I saw that top four for Ukraine, I thought okay, this is like a decent side who are linked to like a big clubs or a mid-table clubs in all the leagues. So I thought this will be like a very good matchup. But then they just took the game within the first 25 minutes itself. And what I was amazed is that there was like proper long range shots. They didn't mind taking shots from like 30 or 35 yards. They were just shooting. It was like shoot and sight. They were just shooting like from wherever it was possible. And the stance of goals, I guess you would have saw like before the Arda Güler
Yeah,
goal, it would have been like the goal of the tournament so far. So and the way they started properly dominating after that and kudos to the Romanian fans as well. Like they were so noisy. Like I was like, okay, wow, like this is like a that gave me proper tournament feel. So that was the team which surprised me. And I think I had to plug this because one of the Spurs defender, Dragosin, also played really well.
Dragosyan, yeah.
And yeah, and I was very amazed with the way he played. So
Mhm.
yeah, kudos to Romania. So yeah.
I do actually think Spurs have a very solid centre back foundation to build upon in Mickey Van de Ven,
Hmm. Yes, yes,
Dragosin,
yes.
and the Argentine as
Romero,
well,
Romero.
Yeah,
Romero.
Romero. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
What about you, Arvind?
Yep. For me, I feel like based on the quality of the sides and the results that we've like observed over the past week, I feel like Turkey has been one of the teams that have surprised me the most because you always associate Turkey to be one of those teams that run on emotions and then like if anything goes against them, like, they start building. But then, although Turkey made a very good start to the game and they took the lead deservedly, Georgia fed them back and then like initially what would happen is the older Turkey teams would basically be like, oh gosh, now we are in trouble, and they'll concede a few more goals. But then this Turkish team, they held their nerves. They what do you say? They composed themselves during halftime and came out a very stronger team in the second half. And the goal by Arda Güler, my word, what a strike that was! And there's a reason why he's so highly rated by footballers, and he's been picked up by Real last season. Let's not fool ourselves. Injuries are part of the game, but you can't deny that there's quality. So yeah, Turkey's been one of the teams that have surprised me the most. And yeah, as Sri Karthik had said, Romania has been another team that's absolutely smashed Ukraine out of the park. They were so clinical against Ukraine. They knew that basically Ukraine, they don't have the clinical edge when they move forward or the defensive discipline when teams attack them. So they made full use of this aspect of Ukraine's game style, and yeah, they came out as deserved 3-0 winners.
I just want to add on to one point that Arvind just made about Turkey's defensive solidity against their usual trend of collapsing whenever breeze blows. We have seen it happen in the past. We've seen it happen in the last World Cup as well. And I mean, I don't remember who the opponent was, but there was one match where their defensive centre back pairing of Kagla Soyuncu and I think it was Demiral who was the other
Demiral.
centre back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was a colossal disaster because two extremely similar front-footed aggressive defenders, fast on the long run but does not have the acceleration. So I think that was one thing Turkey used to get wrong earlier. They just went for the most well-known name to the team without considering how the specific team players' attributes would fit in for the overall team. So Imchu is probably the biggest name Turkish defender we have out there. So he started, Demiral started. But this time they actually went with Turkish players who play in the Turkish league and has earned their name. So I think the centre back players were both Fenerbahce, or one Fenerbahce and one Galatasaray player. So was the core. So apart from 'cause,
Goaler.
I think Guler and
Goaler, yeah,
Çalhanoğlu.
yeah,
Kokchu
Çalhanoğlu.
and
Çalhanoğlu, by
Salah.
the way, excellent player. I think, like,
yeah.
amazing, top quality player. Çalhanoğlu, one of the best deep lying playmakers. He actually transitioned from a cam to a
Camp
DLP,
out,
and
yeah, yeah.
it has been working very well for him. So apart from these two, it's a very Turkish core. So these guys, they are used to playing together. The team is built in a proper way. It's not they are not going out of their way to accommodate superstars. They're focusing on the team first, and I think that really helps Turkey. And yeah, having someone with the quality of Arda Güler in your side, that can
Yeah.
never go wrong.
Yeah. He
Even this,
basically he basically
yep.
recreated his first goal for Turkey
Yeah,
again.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I
Even
guess he's
Kenan
like
Yildiz is
the
one of those players who's stood out in the game against Georgia.
yeah.
The guy who plays
So,
for Juventus, Kenan Yildiz.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
He's like the most soft sort of a guy, like 19 years
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
So,
exactly,
yeah.
and
exactly.
yeah, yeah, and I even like that left back who sort of inverted and came into center with RDO before
Yep.
cardio or something. Yeah, he played really well. I feel like I guess now since Jose is going to Fenerbahce, I think he'll like that guy. Like there's like a very good support. Like actually, every time when you see right, like they'll be always calling Turkey as the dark horses. I feel like this is the actually the first time where there'll be like actual dark horses, and I feel like they'll scalp like one big team hopefully. So we'll see. Yeah.
After
Turkey always
2008, yeah,
had,
this team
a
has
lot
a
of, I mean,
Mm.
Turkey national team and players of Turkish origin have, they have the proper roots in football. You have guys
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ozil Gundogan who's playing
Yes,
for
yes, yes.
Germany, and even back in the day they had certain very talented youngsters emerge. But I do get the feeling that sometimes many of these Turkish talents they don't hit the heights that they are or they were initially supposed to hit, and we have a lot of examples. I remember this Borussia Dortmund
Yilmaz,
winger,
Yilmaz,
Emre
Yilmaz,
Mor.
Yilmaz,
Yilmaz, Yilmaz,
Emre
yeah,
Mor,
Emre
Emre
Mor,
Emre
Mor,
Mor.
Emre
Emre
Mor,
Mor.
yeah. So I think the longevity factor really has to come into play for Turkey national team, and that is something I think Real Madrid physios and the coaches will be paying attention to. That the
yes, yes,
graph
yes.
which Bowler is currently hitting is not lowered, and like Karthik correctly said, a lot of the times, a lot of national tournaments, people have been calling Turkey as dark horses, but this is probably the actual time they can be considered a dark horse because they play like a team
Probably. Yes.
now.
Yeah.
This Turkey has a lot of streets will never forget ballers.
Yeah.
They always come from Turkey, Algeria,
Yeah,
those
Yeah.
Morocco.
Morocco,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Adel Tarat.
Now, what up?
Al
Marwan Shamak, another one.
Marwan. Yeah, for me, actually, I have two teams to call out. One is Italy. If you remember last time as well, yes, when we were speaking about this, we all thought Spain and Croatia might qualify and Italy might drop out. Italy like conceded the quickest goal in Euros ever in their game, but they after that they never looked like conceding again. Like they were so solid throughout the game, and as I said, Ricardo Cagliari, who I think is going to be like a huge star. He showed his game, and Bastoni, of course, they are playing two left-footed centre backs, just like how Spain did in the last tournament, and the amount of control that Jorginho brings to that midfield is again like he has just brought back the form again from his last Euros campaign to this Euros again as if nothing has happened in the 4 years in between. And yeah, like they were incredibly calm, controlled, and they never looked like they will lose that game afterwards, even after conceding. And yeah, I'll probably think like we just underestimated Italy in that group, and
So,
Mm.
looking at
Casemiro, like
some.
small correction from what you said. So, I made the mistake of saying Spain might be the ones who might be at risk in the hands of Croatia and Italy. I was pretty sure of Italy's chances.
Yeah.
I chose Croatia over Spain, and that is why in the first session itself I said, okay, Spain surprise.
Yeah, Spain, and also for me, I expected Germany to be good, but I didn't expect them to be this good as well. Like, of course, Scotland is not the right
Scotland tax.
barrier.
Yeah, yeah. Scotland tax. Yeah.
Scotland is not the right benchmark. But even if you see the game today against Hungary, like it just shows you the difference. If Nagelsmann is able to get this out of the players at his disposal, I only get angry because of the flag that you see behind me because we have like an idiotic shithole manager who cannot even get the best out of the players who are there. So